Hi everyone, welcome. It's Lavender Sky Panther. Today is October 6th, and I actually pulled these cards on September 18th, so maybe both of those dates mean something to you. Anyway, as life is unpredictable, I had drawn these cards, and then something kind of unexpected struck. I had to deal with it, and now's the first time where I'm back and feel like maybe I should get back to this reading. I did spend a lot of time at the time when I pulled the cards, and I was in the flow, and I even took some notes, which I don't normally do. And so, when I came back to look at it now, I'm like, I don't know, I should just probably scrap this and start fresh and re-pull cards. But no, I have some interesting things down here. So I'm going to just move through this, though, a little bit quicker and relying a little heavier than on these notes, which, like I said, I don't normally do notes, but I'm going to rely on them this time just because of the circumstances of why I'm back now. I do just kind of want to move through this. So I hope to capture the spirit of what I was originally seeing when I first pulled the cards. That said, though, let's see. If you can, hopefully you can see this enough, go ahead and pick 1 through 4. We've got 1 over here on the left, 2, 3, and 4. So just pick one of those, or like I like to say, pick anywhere up to all of them, because typically I do like a more of a reading for the collective, not individually. And so there should be something that, jumps out at you, or maybe is somewhat helpful, or just affirms something for you, gives you clarity, who knows, something out of this reading, even if it's just like a color, a number, a turn of phrase, something hopefully clicks for you and is helpful, or at least entertaining. So anyway, go ahead and make a choice. And again, you can pick all of them if you want. I tend to interrelate and jump across anyhow, all the piles or the groups. All right, I do have this beautiful selenite wand in the front that I was just using to kind of anchor things between here and the notes, and also hiding some of the main descriptive words that we're going to see here. So, okay, so those are all the cards, and we're going to start with the first group. And again, pardon me if I kind of make this the express version of what I was going to do originally. But here we have the Emperor. I'll put the names of the decks in the description area below. But we have the Emperor, and the Emperor, we've got a beautiful snowy owl there. He's sitting on like a presumed like ice sculpture type throne. We've got the Aurora Borealis dancing in the night sky behind him with beautiful stars. We also have some very nature, he's very grounded. And at the bottom here too, it looks like almost like a compass, but it's one of the runes. I don't remember which one that is, but it reminds me of the Wheel of Fortune spinning there. And we have the word maturity. Now, the etymology, and I'm going to defer to my notes now, so you might hear me shuffling those in the background. The etymology of the word maturity supposedly means ripeness, completeness, full development. But to me, it means a little bit more than that, because, let me get my little pointer here, because we have MAT as the root. Where we go? Here we go. MAT. And to me, that's more like matar or matare, which means to kill. So it's almost like, to me, it's already a moving toward like a death process, which is kind of what ripening is. It's getting closer toward the death. But anyway, and he's wearing the dark garb. It just kind of reminds me of that, but not in a maudlin, not in like a sad, or grim way. It just means that, that is a part of life. And if we kind of look at this wheel, it could be Wheel of Fortune, it could be like the cycles of life. It's just part of life is when things start to decay as well. There can be beauty in that process in a strange little way. Anyway, there's a lot going on with this card, but let me go to my notes now. Oh, what I did want to point out though too is, look at this, he's holding this orb. And this is really interesting. I haven't really seen this in any of their cards, in any of their decks. This orb that he's holding, it's like radiating out an energy, and has little pits around the perimeter. Kind of reminds me of craters, like he's holding a moon. And then he's got this rod or kind of staff. So he's kind of, balanced out, where he's kind of the representation of he's like ruling and owning the world. But it really is like this world has a life of its own independent of him. So it's almost like he may think that he's controlling something, but I really think it's controlling the scene. Anyhow, we're going to have a song of the day. And for this particular card, for whatever reason, the reference coming to me of a song was from 1993. Hang on. Oops, wrong one. Sorry, give me a second. No, this one's, sorry, wrong group. This song reference is coming from 2017, called Ori, the Will of the Wisps. And it's from a video game. and it's developed by Moon Studios. So that's kind of funny, the moon reference here, with him holding the orb, and then kind of like the nighttime sky and the owl associated with nighttime and the moon. Anyway, it just kind of has that spirit the way that this card is illustrated, and it's actually a very beautiful, picturesque video game, and it's Ori, Ori, the Will of the Wisps. So that might mean something to some of you. Also, I was just kind of wondering with this card, it somehow, I don't remember quite how, it led me to an age calculator for human years to animal years and vice versa. And I thought, we always hear about dogs, excuse me, or like what, 7 years to 1 human year. Well, I'm like thinking to myself, well, what's an owl? We might also think about parrots. When you see them on a pirate's shoulder, how long does a parrot stay alive, like a macaw? Well, in this case, I'm like, what about an owl? I have no idea. So I guess a generic owl I found on this age chart, and where 1 human year equals about little over seven owl years. 5 years of a human is 35 years plus for an owl. 10 years makes the owl about 72 years plus old. And a 14-year-old human in human years makes the owl 102 years plus. And it's fun. There's like a little age, I think it's called the age calculator, age-calculator.online. I think that's the site. And it also shows all kinds of other animals and what their years are compared to humans. So you might want to look at that link. Maybe that's something a little bit fun for you today. And let's see what else. Oh, okay, and then I have a movie reference for this group. And for whatever reason, I'm trying to think why, think back. There may or may not be a direct connection of why that I can pull out, because this is, again, I pulled this from so long ago. But the movie reference, for whatever reason, came to me was the Marvel comic, The Avengers, Infinity War 2018. And there's a scene in that movie where Thor, let's see, it's a little dialogue snippet I'm going to read right now, a little excerpt, a quick little dialogue between Thor and a character named Drax. And Thor says, where we have to go is Nidavellir. And Drax says, that's a made-up word. And Thor says, all words are made up. So I just love that. That really caught my attention because it's true. All words are made up. And that just, I think, came to me when I was looking at the etymology for the word maturity. And, when you look at the etymology of words, obviously, it depends on which origin you want to check out. So sometimes when you do searches on the internet, it'll tell you, oh, that's an old Germanic word, or that's an Old English word, or medieval English, or that's Gaelic, or Old French, or Latin, and you got to look and see what's the oldest civilization you can find for some of these words. And a lot of times it's ancient Greek. So anyway, when you look at etymology, you might want to be a little discerning as far as, where that origin is, or compare many, potential origins of the word. So that being said, just to add to the movie reference, in their little fandom snippet online, it says Nidavellir is a neutron star that was the homeworld of the dwarves, as well as one of the 9 realms, protected by the Asgardians and orbited by a multi-ringed megastructure. And so that kind of actually reminds me of the card too, where it looks like the detailing on this emperor's cloak is like rings, around a planet a little bit. Okay, I think that was it for this one. And I know that kind of hopped all over the place, but hopefully there's something in there that worked for you off of that group. Also, we're going to kind of look at this owl as we jump to the next card, because I'm getting a very much of a Harry Potter vibe between the 2 cards, between that owl. And then this one is the Heart of Sky. Now we're into group 2. And she's wearing, it's funny, I didn't notice this on this card before, but the moon is actually holding a draped garment. So this is all the stars. It's like she's wearing as a cloak or like a dress that looks like the constellations. And to me, it very much reminds me of the invisibility cloak of Harry Potter. Now, I'm only thinking of that too is because after I had drawn these cards and in my little interim break here, a family member wanted to go through and watch all of the Harry Potter movies. So it's kind of fresh in my mind and makes that association for me between the owl and this kind of cloak, because it looks like it's camouflaging her a bit. It looks like something she can take on or off to hide or be the nothingness or no-thingness, or let it, be draped off and reveal kind of more of a fiery spirit. in other cases. So anyway, this is the Heart of Sky, and let me go to my notes on this one. So the song reference for this one is 1993 by a song by Sting called Shape of My Heart. And there's just a phrase in that song that just kind of was reminding me of this card. I'm not a man of too many faces. The mask I wear is one. So she's got, kind of looks like she has a mask over the eyes, the way her makeup is done, and the way this is kind of cascading over. So it just kind of reminded me of that, plus Shape of My Heart. All the focus on this card is, kind of in this area of her heart, and it's kind of like semi-transparent. Is it there? Is it not? But the center of creation is sometimes called the no thing, and where it's the point of total darkness is where creation is born out of. It reminds me of that as well. All right, anyway, this card also reminds me of when we look at the sun and the moon, and I've also mentioned this on other shows, how I don't believe that the sun is masculine and the moon is feminine. I actually believe it's reversed. So for me, in other languages, if you say el sol or la luna, I think really it should be flipped as la sol and el luna. But that's just because sun is implying the creation energy, which to me is feminine, and the moon looks quote unquote war ravaged if you look at it, pretty bleak and sterile. And to me, that would be, the masculine energy of, warlike stuff. Anyway, with this Heart of Sky card, one of the definitions in the companion book says the love force that made all creation possible. And yeah, like I said, it reminded me of the no thing, or the 0 point of creation, in this kind of moment on the card. Anyway, beautiful card. I hope you got something out of that. And we're going to move on to group 3. Okay, group 3, you've got a fun card. Let me show you a little bit more of it. Hang on. Give me a moment. It is number 24 or 6 if you're looking at numbers. And sorry, the little fun stuff keeps interrupting. So let me move it out of the way. All right, so what we have here is very interesting. We have Electric Eel Spirit. Bring your ideas to life. So, okay, that's not a big stretch when we think of that light bulb moment, right? That great idea coming from an electric source. In this case, we're looking at the electric eel. Now, quite honestly, I've always seen references of electric eels coming up in stories and movies. There's always reference. But I frankly did not know anything more about that, about electric eels, and I did want to learn more. So I took down some notes. So first of all, it's more of a catfish. This is just what I could find online or in a YouTube video. It's more catfish or carp related, more like a fish than an eel. It grows all of its life, and just more vertebrae keep popping up, and it keeps getting longer. It's nocturnal and supposedly has poor physical eyesight and lives in fresh water and muddy, dark water, typically, I guess, in South America. Now, it does produce an electric shock, but unprovoked. It's not like it comes and zaps you. It's just in a state of being able to shock you. So supposedly it has 3 organs, and I do invite you to go look this up more and do research on your own. It's pretty fascinating. It has 3 organs. Supposedly the first one is lighter voltage for electrocommunication and location. So since, again, the bad eyesight, it relies on the electricity and currents for communication and locating things. So that's a much lighter, voltage. Then there are 2 other higher voltage areas in the fish, we'll call it, that do stun prey. And those go, from what I was looking around, it could be anywhere from 600 to 860 volts. So yeah, that's pretty shocking. And if you look around at some YouTube videos, they show people that are crazy enough to go ahead and try to touch one of these at that voltages. I don't recommend that, but you can just see, take it for what it's worth. You can just get an idea of what that shock can do to a human, and let alone, what it would do to the fish that come into contact with it. So anyway, just for fun, the song reference coming to me on this group is from the 1980s. And some of you may already kind of maybe have an idea of where I'm going with this if it's an 80s song, and you're definitely going to cringe probably when I say it, but it's by Eddie Grant, Electric Avenue. And so the line that kept coming to me when I was looking at this card was, oh, we're going to rock, go to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Oh, actually, it's we're going to rock. Oh, we're going to rock down to, not go to, Electric Avenue. and then we'll take it higher. So that is the message from the electric eel, and hope you got something out of this, guys, for group 3. Now we're going to go to group 4. All right, group 4, you have compassion, number 7, Scottish primrose. Okay. When I started looking at this card, I did have to look up what the Scottish primrose is and what its qualities are. And then at the same time, we've got Scottish, so that led me to thinking of Scotland and St. Andrews Golf Course. And then that led me to thinking of a golf movie of Bagger Vance. So I'm going to read you my notes to all of this. And first off, let's see, the Scottish primrose has a yellow center and dark rich purple flowers as for the petals. And just looking it up from the companion book, it says many plants never flower as it is self-fertilizing, and it doesn't rely on insects, and it has an unusually bright colored flower though. And anyway, we see, let's see. Okay, we also see the word compassion. And so that just kind of reminded me of breaking down that word compassion. We have compass and ion together, or we have come, pass, on, or we have eon or ion from Old Greek to go. And then also ion is an electrically charged particle, and it just kind of reminded me of this. So if we just take the ion part out at the end of that word, then of course we have IO in that word, and that is a Jupiter moon, a moon of Jupiter, Io or Eo. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Anyway, the song that I, for whatever reason, was thinking of because of the word passion is in here is from, what year is this? From 1983 Flashdance, performed by Irene Cara, What a Feeling. So instead of the lyric goes, take your passion and make it happen. And so I was just for fun and, kept hearing it in my head, take your compassion and make it happen. And you might want to look further at the lyrics of that song. Another part of that is she goes, what a feeling, I am music now, beings believing, I am rhythm now. Pictures come alive, you can dance right through your life. So you might want to look more into that song if this pile seems to be clicking with you. All right, now to the St. Andrews part. Yeah, it just reminded me of the golf course, just kind of the way this illustration's done. And then that just took me, for whatever reason, to the movie Legend of Bagger Vance from 2000. And there's a quote in there that was really pretty. It's just a partial excerpt I'll say from it from right now, but it gets into a point where it's pretty metaphysical through the movie in parts. But there's part of a quote that goes, see the place where the tides and the seasons and the turning of the earth all come together, where everything that is becomes one. And so anyway, for whatever reason, I was inspired to write these things down for group 4. And I hope something clicked with you. So that's going to sum it up for now. And I hope this wasn't too all over the place. And in the meantime, I wish you all a gorgeous right now and tremendous peace and love. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.